Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from Yahuwah the Father and Yahusha the Messiah, his Son. Hear, O Yasharal, Yahuwah our mighty one is one Yahuwah. This is Brother David coming to you again to bring you the laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments of Yahuwah. And we're starting today from Deuteronomy chapter 22. All right, this is for the mothers. I went around inquiring, went to a few different parents, mothers that is, to find out whether or not, if they found that their child was disobedient, a glutton, a wine-bibber, one who talks back, most likely curses them out, tells them what to do, would they stone him to death until he dies? The answer that I received from the mothers was no. They cannot pull themselves to do such a thing. Why is that? Because in America we are taught to coddle evil. We love wickedness. In the kingdom, you cannot. You have to destroy the evil from amongst you. Now, why would you do that? You don't want it to spread to your other children. You don't want it to spread to your other neighbors or throughout the whole region. You have to put this evil out from amongst you. Now, if this alone is going to cause you not wanting to go into the kingdom, you need to renew your mind. Wickedness is not allowed. The evil practices of America will be dismissed with, and the kingdom will belong to Yahuwah, and we shall be governed by the rule of law. The wages of sinfulness like this is death. There's not going to be any gift. That gift is for us now, so that we can come back to him. And he'll wipe away our transgressions of the law by his sacrifice as we turn to Yahuwah and keep his commandments. But in the kingdom, brothers and sisters, this shall be carried out. Just a thought. Let's begin. Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 1 to 4. Verse 1. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them. Turn from them. Go the opposite direction. Ignore it. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. So if you see your brother's ox and his sheep walking down the street unattended, you have to go and gather them and bring them to your brother. Verse 2, and if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, that means he doesn't live close, or if thou know him not, then thou shalt bring it unto thine own house, and it shall be with thee until thy brother seeketh after it, and thou shalt restore it to him again. So you take it to your house, you feed it, you nurture it until your brother comes and returns, and then you give it back to him after he has validated that that is his ox or his sheep. Verse 3, in like manner shalt thou do with his ass, and so shalt thou do with his raiment, and with all lost things of thy brothers. Note, he's saying brothers. Everything has to do here with your brother, which he hath lost, and thou hast found. Here is your lost and found. Shalt thou do likewise. Thou mayest not hide thyself. Don't turn the other way. Go into hiding because you got his stuff and you don't want him to know, we cannot carry out the evil practices of America. Anything that belongs to your brother, you must return it. And if you do not know him, you are to take it into your house and hold it for him until he comes to seek after it. Verse 4. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again. So if you see your brother's ox or his ass fall into a ditch, you're not supposed to turn away and say, oh, this is not my business, or hide yourself, go hide behind a tree because you don't want to do any physical labor. The Father says, thou shalt surely help him to lift him up again. Have you noticed something? Every verse here, 1, 2, 3, 4, speaks about your brother. The question is, am I my brother's keeper? And the answer is, according to Deuteronomy chapter 22, verses 1 through 4, it is yes, absolutely. Now just think if we were functioning like this in America, how powerful would we be? This is why they've spread so much division amongst us, so that we would not do this. Verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination unto Yahuwah thy mighty one. Here in America, the men are wearing dresses now. It's a fashion statement. Craziest thing I ever seen, but this is how it's going. But the Father says, a woman cannot wear that pertaineth to a man, neither shall a man wear that which pertaineth to a woman. I hear a lot of people try to rationalize. Oh, well, these jeans that I have on, they were created for a woman's shape, so they're created for me. Listen what the Father says. Don't wear anything that pertaineth to a man. If you want to be safe, then you want to keep yourself from violating any of his commandments, just wear things that pertaineth unto a woman. Men, only wear things that pertaineth unto a man, or else you will be an abomination, sheer hatred by the mighty one. You don't want to do these things. So just follow instructions. Dismiss with America and its behavior. Verse 6. If a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way, in any tree, or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the dam sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young. This makes sense, but the Father has to explain these things to the people. You don't take the mother with the eggs. You take the eggs, but you leave the mother. Verse 7, but thou shalt in any wise let the dam go, let the mother go, and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, that you may get full, have something to eat, and thou mayest prolong thy days. How do you prolong your days? The dam is going to have more eggs. Let's put it as the chicken so we can understand a little better. We want to keep the bloodline of the chicken flowing. So don't take the mother and the eggs at the same time. Verse 8, when thou buildest a new house, thou shalt make a battlement for thy roof, that thou bring not blood upon thine house, if any man fall from thence. A battlement is like a railing on the top of your house. The Father wants you to build this, because if by an accident someone was to fall over the top of your roof and die, you don't want the slayer, the person who died's family, coming to look for you. You'll have to flee into one of the cities of refuge. So the Father says, in order to keep this from happening, build a battlement so that this will not happen to you. The slayer will not come to visit your house. That's what that thou bring not blood upon thine house. That's where the slayer comes in. Verse 9, thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown, and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. Do you know that everything that we're eating today is defiled? We're eating genetically modified organisms. Remember that. The Europeans are mixing these seeds. They're making a super seed, one that is resistant to chemicals, also resistant to bugs. Listen to this, the bugs won't even eat it. Now, if the bugs won't eat it, let me ask you a question. Why are we? Now, if it's defiled, that means it has no nutritional value, and that is correct. It has the opposite effect. You will become sick over time. Your body is not getting the proper nutrients. You will get all types of diseases because your body's immune system is too weak. This is what America is all about. It is totally against the ways of the Mighty One. It is the total opposite of his ways. Verse 10, thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together. Well, you can see this already, right? The ox is bigger than the ass. The ass will be overtaxed, could kill him. Verse 11, thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen and linen together. The Father doesn't want us wearing mixed materials. So if you're going to wear cotton that day. Linen, wear linen that day. Wool, wear wool that day. Verse 12, thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself. By now, I believe that all of us should be wearing fringes, right? If you are not wearing fringes, start. It may seem to be too expensive, when you look online and you go to different websites to look for clothing that the Israelites are making. It's a little expensive, but they're using the best of materials. I want you to know that from the beginning. But you can get the fringes. You can even make them yourself. And you can put them on the four quarters of your vesture, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, covering each side of the body. And that is legal. Don't let anyone tell you it's not. The Jews have those little fringes. You see them with their tassels all over. They call them zitzits. They have those fringes. There's nothing wrong with it. Just because they do it, don't mean that we should abhor it. Because this commandment is meant for us. It's right here in front of you. Thou shalt make fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself. So you can have fringes that come all the way around the borders of your garments, or you can have the four quarters. Either one of these are good with Yahuwah. Remember that. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. You've seen the law here for yourself. Verse 13, if any man take a wife, and go in unto her, and hate her. Verse 14, and give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not to be a maid, that she was not a virgin. Verse 15, then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. What are the tokens of the damsel's virginity? When they had the wedding ceremony, you were not married until after you had gone and laid down with your wife and gone into her. The hymen had to be broken. A white sheet was spread down for you to lay upon. When the hymen is broken, there is blood that seeps out and goes upon the cloth. The mother and the father, after the deed has been done, they come in and collect that cloth and they store it up. This is the token of the damsel's virginity. Verse 16, and the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. Verse 17, and lo, he have given occasions of speech against her. He has given some railing accusations against his wife, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid. She was not a virgin. And yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. Verse 18, and the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him. So once they spread the cloth and they saw that little blood stain on the cloth, and that cloth was collected from the marriage bed, then the elders have their certificate of, how would you say, not authenticity, but you know, that she was never touched before. She was a virgin. That's her certificate of virginity. What's going to happen to the man now? And the elders of the city, verse 18, shall take that man and chastise him. What are they going to do to him? Verse 19, and they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver and give them unto the father of the damsel. Hold it 1 second. Why is it that he's given the father the 100 shekels of silver? Because he hath brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Yasharal. Okay, he brought the evil name upon the virgin, but I mean, why is the father the one who is collecting the money? Because the father, the daughter is the father's possession. When she was in his house, he watched over her. He had to protect her from men coming over and spoiling her virginity. And he worked hard at this. This is how they did it in those days. These days, you can't control the young ladies. But in those days, you kept them in the house. You kept them close so that they wouldn't come into contact with men. And she shall be his wife, and he may not put her away all of his days. So this virgin of Yasharal that he brought an evil name upon, now he has to pay 100 shekels of silver, and he still has to keep this woman, and he can't put her away all the days of his life, and there's rules how he has to treat her. Verse 20, but if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, what's going to happen? Then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones that she die, because she have wrought folly in Yasharal, to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from amongst you. So you see why the father got the money? He was responsible for that, to make sure he watched out for his daughter. But praise be to Yahuwah, you can't die because of your daughter's sins. But you have to put this evil out from amongst you. You have to turn her over to the people to stone her. The wages of sin is death, brothers and sisters. Verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both die. Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman, so shalt thou put evil from Yasharal. Forget that divorce stuff. You find her laying with another man, she is to die. If a man is found laying with your wife, he is to die. After a few instances of this, and the people shall hear and see and fear, you won't have any of this mess going on in the kingdom. What do you think? Verse 23. If a damsel, that is a virgin, be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her. Here's the first question. This woman is espoused. She's a virgin. What is she doing in the city in the first place? She's supposed to be in her father's house, not in the city. Verse 24. Then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. So they must have had a hookup thing going on here, right? The damsel, because she cried not, so she didn't cry out, meaning that she wanted this thing to happen. Being in the city, because if she cried out, the people would have heard her. And the man, because he have humbled his neighbor's wife. Hold it. I thought that she was just espoused. She wasn't married yet, right? But once you are espoused in Yasharah, you are already really married. So shalt thou put away evil from amongst you. Let's stop for a moment. This shows you how powerful Joseph was. If he had to turn Miriam, unto the authorities, this is what would have happened to her. Now just think. Mary comes to Joseph and she says, I'm pregnant with child, and the Lord himself has impregnated me. Now, men, what would you think? You would like, oh no, does she think I am stupid? He may pick up the first brick and start stoning her. But if it were not for the angel coming to speak to him personally, to tell him that truly that child that is in her womb is of the mighty one, is when he forbear from what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to bring her out, that she'll be stoned with stones until she died. Verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her, and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. Okay, let's see why. Let's see what this statute has to say. Verse 26. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. Why? There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. Hold it 1 second. This is rape. This is why you take that brother and you stone him to death. There's not going to be any rape in Yasharah, brothers and sisters. The penalty is death. And don't think that it's going to change. The Father is not going to have this behavior going on. All of the wickedness that we have learned in the lands of our captivity, they shall cease in the kingdom. Verse 27, for he found her in the field. And the betrothed damsel, she cried. But there was no one to save her. She wasn't in the city. She was on her father's property, in the field, probably picking little flowers, going around singing Negro spirituals. And here comes some evil man, comes and discovers her skirt and rapes her. He shall be put to death. Verse 28. If a man find a damsel, that is a virgin, which is not betrothed. Now remember, the last lady was betrothed unto someone. She had already belonged to another man. And lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, What's going to happen to this one? Verse 29. Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver. Oh, that's not so bad. He had to purchase her. And she shall be his wife. Because he hath humbled her, he may not put her away all of his days. So, if a man finds a young lady, you know how it is today. You meet someone, your eyes meet and love strikes. And they can't contain themselves, the two, because it feels that draw is just so powerful. And he goes into her. And he humbles her. He's taken away her virginity. Now he has to go and pay the father 50 shekels of silver. You see, the father's the one who comes out rich with all of these things. Because the daughter is the possession of the father. And when this guy has paid for her this 50 shekels of silver, now she has become the possession of this young man. Because he have humbled her, he may not put her away all his days. So just for a couple of moments of pleasure, you have to keep this woman. Keep that in mind, brothers. Verse 30. A man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt. Let's go to an instance in the Bible that will open this up for you so you can understand. When Noah and his sons, they came out of the ark. You've heard of the story where Ham went and looked upon his father's nakedness. Now, the way that Old English is written, it has a strange speech to it. But basically what he was looking at was his father's wife. He was lusting after his father's wife. Mind you, there wasn't many women around in those days, but still, this is totally forbidden. She must have had some banging body. Why do I say that? Because after he looked upon her, he ran to his brothers. And he says, hey, come on, guys. Come over here. I want you to see Pop's wife. Man, she looked good. And the brothers said, oh, no, that is transgression of the law. They grabbed a sheet and they walked in backwards and they covered their father's nakedness. When their father woke up and discovered what Ham had did, he cursed Canaan. He didn't curse Ham. He cursed Canaan. Why didn't he curse Ham? When they all came out of the ark, Yahuwah blessed Noah and his sons. He who Yahuwah has blessed, no man can curse. So he couldn't curse Ham, he cursed Canaan. Cursed be Canaan. Now, this is where this so-called thing called the Hamitic curse came from. I know you've heard me speak about it before. There is no such thing as the Hamitic curse. It was created by the Jews. If anything, it's the curse of Canaan, correct? Because Canaan is the one who was cursed, not Ham. So it was the Canaanite curse. They tried to put that Hamitic curse on us. We are not Canaan. We are Yasharal. We know that now. The Hamites are the ones who is Canaan or Canaan. So I want you to see, brothers and sisters, this Bible and this law is perfect. Anything you want to know is contained in the Old and the New Testament. This is the only book that you need to use in order to grow. Continue to chapter 23. Let's look at some more truths. Shalom.